Up A to Z Sports live on a Monday. Hope you all had great weekends as the weather was fantastic here in Middle Tennessee, and the basketball probably beat everybody up. If you were involved in any sports betting, the NCAA basketball tournament probably took a lot of your money, but you probably didn't have the worst weekend of anybody because we're talking about Isaiah Wilson today, who has now burned a bridge with his second NFL team in less than a year. The Titans' former first-round draft pick was cut by the Miami Dolphins on Saturday, just 3 days, Zach, after the trade from the Titans to the Dolphins officially went through. We had a part in this, I feel like, for what happened over the weekend with Isaiah Wilson, so we're discussing that. I've also got
we as in you.
But I'm a team player. I think
We'll discuss that.
Okay, that's fine. But I've got 4 of the worst Isaiah Wilson takes that I got on Twitter over the weekend that we'll talk about. We'll also play the video that I think led to the action of the Dolphins cutting Isaiah Wilson. Then there is a rumor out there about the Titans and the wide receiver position. So we'll talk about that. Deshaun Watson, his legal issues are really starting to stack up. And we'll talk about him and his season being in jeopardy next year. And it is a Monday, so it's time for Bad Sales Job at the end of the show. Zach, welcome in. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, I did have a great weekend and looking forward to this week. And, unfortunately, I will not be winning the $500 because I picked Illinois to win the national championship. They are currently at home. So, it's a tough road, but I have enjoyed watching a lot of basketball over the weekend and more basketball to come as the days wane on. Going to have a great show on this Monday morning. Hope we can get your week started off right. We are broadcasting on 4 different platforms, including Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and on Facebook. Reminder, Periscope, which is Twitter, and Twitter is Periscope. Periscope will cease to exist, so we'll see how the transition works here in, at the end of the month, so only a few days, but stick with us. That's why we have made the effort to live stream on different platforms. So if you do have to shift, again, we don't know how the transition is going to take. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing not only live shows, but more podcasting on there and clips. So get some good content there if you are a fan of what we do. If you are on Twitch, we welcome you. And also on Facebook, more people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Then as you guys do, please share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, if you're watching on Facebook, share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing. Let's get this party started on a Monday, Austin.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at A to Z at 8 Central Time. So make sure you're following us there. We've got to thank our sponsors because they make everything happen for our show, and they help you guys out. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the Nashville area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout is free. Wilson County Hyundai for your next ride. WilsonCountyHyundai.com to find their inventory. Calvin and Settle for your brand new hardwood floors and finishings across the mid-state. CalvinandSettle.com, and the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So, Zach,
did you see what I saw?
I know. I do not. I did not.
Ooh.
Is it official? Is what we were talking about before official?
It is from our man Terry McCormick. Coming straight in. Terry McCormick, a little bit of breaking news. Terry McCormick of Titan Insider, who we've been colleagues of him for a long, long time, can confirm Titans have reached a deal with wide receiver Josh Reynolds, formerly of the Rams.
Wow. 52 seconds ago is what I'm seeing. So that's pretty quick there from Terry. So do we adjust real quick? Do we talk Josh Reynolds now? And then we'll talk about Isaiah Wilson here. This on the fly. We set up a show with topics and questions for you guys, but sometimes you take that topic sheet, light on fire, and you go. So do we talk about Josh Reynolds right now? I'm prepared to do so.
I am willing to adapt and adjust. I think we can push Isaiah Wilson's antics back to our second segment.
That's
We all know about Isaiah Wilson. This is new because the Titans have targeted a wide receiver in which we were trying to figure out which wide receiver they're going to get in the second wave, and they have settled on Josh Reynolds. So, yeah, I'm willing to adapt on the fly.
All right, so the Titans signed Josh Reynolds or agreed to terms with Josh Reynolds. Zach, what's your initial feel? Kyle Dupree says, "Who is Josh?" LOL. So, Zach, I'll let you react initially. How do you feel about the Titans addressing their wide receiver position with Josh Reynolds, formerly of the Rams?
Well, they have gone the route that we kind of thought they were going to go, right? And I have been on the Keelan Cole bandwagon for a long, long time. He got $5.5 million for 1 year with the Jets. I liked what he did with the Jags. They drafted over him, and so he had to move on. But what Keelan Cole gave you was production at a lower clip, less opportunity, and now you're going to get a new team where he's going to get more opportunity. Josh Reynolds has spent the last 4 years for the Los Angeles Rams. He's been consistent all 16 games for all 4 seasons. And look, he hasn't started those games. Last year, he started 13 of the 16. The Rams use a lot of wide receivers. Yeah. So that is what that is. But had 618 yards last year, 2 touchdowns. But his catch percentage was very high, 64.2% compared to the last 3 years. So a reliable receiver when he was throwing the ball. It looks like he's gradually gotten better over the last 4 years in his career. And those are the wide receivers that you're looking for that have taken the small steps and then take the big jump. We compared Rashard Matthews, who was in with the Dolphins. The Titans had gotten value out of Rashard Matthews the first 2 years that he was available for the Titans. And we all know how it ended. But this is the same kind of concept. We don't know the years or the money yet, but Terry McCormick of Titan Insider has confirmed that the Titans have reached a deal with Josh Reynolds. This does help their wide receiver core that was literally just A.J. Brown. I know they had other guys, but A.J. Brown was the only guy worth a damn.
Right. So we'll read some of your comments here in a second, but and Greg says behind Woods and Kupp still put up 600 yards. 2 touchdowns is low, but can he get more opportunity in a Titans offense that has more available targets? Because Josh Reynolds is one of the 3 guys that I targeted maybe 3+ weeks ago at this point, where I thought the Titans would go for a value veteran wide receiver.
Is he a part of your 3? It was Keelan Cole and Josh Reynolds, and who's the third guy?
Rashard Higgins from the Browns.
That's right.
So Josh Reynolds makes sense because of what the Titans salary cap situation was this year. Again, I stood pat and I said the only big money, big name free agent wide receiver the Titans should even think about signing this year is Corey Davis because of the continuity, and everybody else that's big money. Listen to what I'm saying, Zach. Don't shut that off.
I can and I will. So continue.
And obviously they did not do that. But what I'm saying is it's not worth it to spend money on Curtis Samuel, Kenny Golladay, or Marvin Jones, or any of these wide receivers who got big money contracts. That was not worth it to the Titans for what they were able to do with the roster and what they can do in the draft. Josh Reynolds makes a lot of sense. He's long, he's speedy, he's a vertical threat. He's got a wide catch radius because he's 6'3" with long arms. Josh Reynolds is something that the Titans do not have on this roster, and he is a hungry guy looking for more food on his plate because, as Greg put up, you're behind Robert Woods, you're behind Cooper Kupp, who are high-volume wide receivers. Josh Reynolds has been a pretty solid number 3 guy for the last couple of years in LA with the Rams and Jared Goff. Now can he grow into a number 2 wide receiver behind A.J. Brown, or is he really just the 3rd guy still? And that's what the Titans have to continue to address.
Yeah, and look, that's where you find out. Like, we figured out Corey Davis as the number 5 overall pick was not a number 1 wide receiver. He was a number 2 wide receiver. Now, will he become a number 1 wide receiver for the New York Jets? I don't know. We'll find out. But this is where the movement happens. You know, a 4th round pick in year 5 that has been a number 3 in really a prolific offense for the Rams, can you move to a number 2? Rashard Matthews, as I mentioned, moved to at that point, I guess, was Rashard number 1? I mean, it was a really bad offense.
Delaney was number 1.
Fair,
right?
fair,
and
fair.
Then, yeah.
So you are correct there. But this is where Josh Reynolds can really be a nice piece in this offense to help and continue helping A.J. Brown. We'll talk about their draft needs at wide receiver here in a second and if this changes anything. But I don't mind this pick as we talked about it. I think John Robinson learned his lesson from signing the big name wide receiver free agent in Adam Humphries. He got burned by that contract because of the situation. He wasn't going to do that with Corey Davis because we all know Corey Davis was not worth the money that he was given or would have been given for the Titans. They wouldn't have done it. So smart. They're going to go draft a wide receiver, I believe, and we'll figure out what round. But now they've got A.J. Brown and Josh Reynolds. It's not a game changer, but I don't hate it.
All right, so let's get to that. How does Josh Reynolds impact the Titans wide receiver draft? We'll discuss that here in a second. I've got some opinions on it, and we'll get yours as well. We talked about this some Friday, but it definitely makes sense to revisit this now that we actually have an answer on the veteran wide receiver. But first, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness. For one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. It's full body electronic muscle stimulation. And I did it on Saturday morning. I felt great. I've continued to build muscle. I've continued to increase my muscle mass and decrease my body fat percentage with Mandu.com. If you're trying to achieve any type of fitness goal this year, Mandu needs to be a part of your fitness routine. It is for anybody, any age, any fitness level. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free.
Izzy Storts, don't forget, hey, I'm rocking the BetMGM shirt.
There you go.
Yeah, you know why? Because
they took all your money.
Salvaged my weekend last night in the last final game. I did not do very well in my my book of BetMGM, but I had to ride big last night on the over of Oklahoma State and Oregon State, which was a good game. And it was exciting. And a lot of points were scored. That was my favorite part. A lot of points were definitely scored. But you need to download the BetMGM app. Use the promo code ATOZ Sports. Austin and I have had a ball since they have joined our team as our title sponsor. It really has been a great experience, right? We haven't gone overboard and leveraged our homes and all the things that we own. But we're playing, baby. That's the best part. We're getting something out of it. You can get something out of it, too. Download the app today and use promo code ATOZ Sports. They got promos running all the time, whether you're just signing up with our promo code or whether you're already in. They give you incentive, and that's a cool part.
Yeah, and Greg says, speaking of that, Austin, stop with all the parlays. Well, they keep giving me parlay boosts. They give me 2 parlay boosts every day, so I'm not just going to let them sit there.
Have you hit a parlay?
I did fantastic. Friday, I was undefeated. Friday, I hit all my plays. I went 4-0 with my bets, including 2 parlays and one game parlay. I crushed on Friday. I haven't hit a bet since. So we'll see how that changes today. Okay, so Zach, how does Josh Reynolds impact the Titans' draft needs at wide receiver? And I'm going to read some comments before I give my opinion because I have a take on this. Ramon says Reynolds impacts nothing at all. And Billington says should still draft a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. And Peyton says, did they sign Josh Reynolds? Yes, Terry McCormick has confirmed the rumor that happened late last night that the Titans have talked to Josh Reynolds. So Josh Reynolds is looking like he's going to become a Titan. Jeff says he's better than every other wide receiver on the team, not including AJ, obviously, so he's a big help.
I mean, that's not false.
No, it's true. Rob says, man, a lot of you don't know about Josh Reynolds' talent. He's a fine signing and will impress with opportunity. I don't disagree with Rob there. I mean, do you remember Josh Reynolds in college?
I do. Texas A&M.
Reynolds was at A&M was an absolute stud, and he was making big plays. That was when A&M, I guess, probably had Trevor Knight at quarterback. Is that right? Josh Reynolds made huge plays. It would not be irregular to see Josh Reynolds score a 70-plus yard touchdown at Texas A&M. The guy made big plays. He's long, all that. So Ethan Ramsey says the Titans signings haven't changed any of their draft needs so far.
Honestly, Ethan and Ethan and I go back and forth. We don't agree on much, but I agree with Ethan right there. I think everything that they've done, and I've said right now, and I said it last week, you were on the opposite end of it, Austin, but the Titans are winners right now in the draft. It doesn't mean that their needs of the draft are in the free agency. It doesn't mean that the needs of their draft has changed, because I don't think it has, as I've stuck with what, and I'll kind of reiterate here in a little bit, but I think Ethan's right on cue right there.
All right, so Ramon says still need 2 wide receivers. Brent says no guarantee that Josh Reynolds can be the number 2 wide receiver. Still need to draft one early. So here's how I think about it. Because we had this conversation at Mill Creek Brewery on Friday, right? To an extent that the Titans had A.J. Brown and then a bunch of like practice squad up and down type guys like Cam Batson and Nick Westbrook-Akina and that kind of stuff, right? So I felt like the Titans, I said on Friday that there are 2 wide receivers that are the safest picks for the Titans to have an impact at 22 overall. It's Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota and Terrence Marshall Jr. out of LSU. And then what we talked about is the other slew of wide receivers that could be in play for the Titans in the first or second round, like Kadarius Toney out of Florida, Elijah Moore, Ole Miss, Rondale Moore, Purdue. Those 3 guys are all slot guys. What this signing of Josh Reynolds does is it gives the Titans another big body wide receiver who's got some length to him, because Reynolds is 6'3". He's under 200 pounds, so he's pretty thin, but he is at least long.
He's not a slot guy.
Correct.
He's an outside wide receiver.
Right. So that him and A.J. Brown, now you've got some size there. So Terrence Marshall Jr. without Josh Reynolds, Terrence Marshall Jr. like 6'4", who's really fast. Like you're thinking you need a big body dude. Rashad Bateman is kind of a tweener on he can play from the slot and outside. So what I feel is that how Josh Reynolds impacts the Titans draft needs at wide receiver is they can go get whoever they like the most, regardless of body type. If they signed a free agent wide receiver like Keelan Cole, they need a big body draft guy, right? But they signed Josh Reynolds, so they can still go get Bateman. If Terrence Marshall Jr. is the guy they love, they can still draft him. But it also makes the Rondale or Elijah Moore or Kadarius Toney make more sense, because now you've got a well-rounded skill set at the position group.
Yeah, and the other thing that I do love about this signing, as, again, Friday's conversation alluded to, is now they can go draft a pass rusher in the first round. They don't have to take a wide receiver. Don't take a wide receiver. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go get a defensive pass rush to help your defense that was absolute slaw last year with the players that were playing under Shane Bowen. These now will play under Shane Bowen. That's what I think it also does. And the other good thing that I believe that this does, so you're telling me there's a chance. It now puts Elijah Moore back in play, baby. And that makes me happy. I would love the Titans in the second round to trade up to go get Elijah Moore. I don't know where his value is going to be as the draft actually falls whenever it comes. But because Josh Reynolds is what you described him as, I like this. Look, and Josh Reynolds is a risk, but let's be honest, okay? If you look at the past years, look, he played 16 games last year. He had his best year so far. And Josh Reynolds, 618 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Well, in 2019, let me just remind you, everybody's boy, Corey Davis, had 601 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, there you go. And you're not having to pay that dude $12.5 million. This is a good play. Look, it's strategic, and it may pay off, or it may come and bite them. It doesn't know. But they're not gonna get bit in the pocketbook. I do not know the contract details of Josh Reynolds, but it's nowhere close to $12.5 million. I do know that. I do know that. And if you can get value out of him, I feel like Josh Reynolds' stock is going up, where you are trying to figure out exactly how to evaluate what Corey Davis was. So I like this and what it does for the impact of what it does for them in the draft.
So Rob says just signed Justin Hunter 2.0. So the 2.0 version is always better than the 1.0 version. Is their style similar? I mean, their body types are similar. Like Justin Hunter was a better pure athlete than Josh Reynolds because Justin Hunter was a freak athlete. But again, he had no drive. He had no actual on-field production in the NFL. I think Josh Reynolds, as MTL Titan says, is absolutely tougher than Justin Hunter because Justin Hunter had zero toughness.
Well, and to be fair to Josh Reynolds, which we do need to be fair to him, in all of the seasons that Justin Hunter played, he never had a year over 500 yards. So, like, come on. There is that. And Josh Reynolds got his contract after his fourth season. His rookie deal was up and got another contract. If you look at Justin Hunter, that dude bounced. After 3 years with the Titans, went to Buffalo, and then his last 2 years in Pittsburgh, let me just read you his stat line. It's not going to take that long. He had 4 receptions for 23 yards in 2017, 1 touchdown. In 2018, he had 3 receptions for 21 yards, 0 touchdowns. Bye-bye out of the league. So that's a harsh statement. I will say, whoever said that, Josh Reynolds is not and will not be Justin Hunter.
No, but he said 2.0. So 2.0 is, again, an upgraded version of the original.
He's going to get more than 23 yards receiving this year.
And so I like Steph Dobbs says the only similarity they have is in body type.
Right.
But Josh Reynolds, 4'5", 240 at the combine back when he was coming out of Texas A&M. He's got a lot of skills. He has had not as much opportunity as he could potentially have in the Titans offense. But what I like about this is that, again, I'll reiterate it. It opens the door up for the Titans to go out there and get whatever wide receiver they like, whether it's a big body style or a smaller slot guy. I think Josh Reynolds makes the Titans more flexible. It also allows them to truly go best player available at 22 overall. Pass rusher, corner, wide receiver, Christian Barmore, whatever it is, best player available at 22 overall now makes a lot more sense. And that could be Bateman. It could be J.C. Horn. It could be anybody. But I do think Josh Reynolds helps the Titans out a lot. More information on the deal. Football and Other F Words says 1 year deal for Josh Reynolds expected to be less than $2.5 million. I don't know if that's
let's get confirmation.
But 1 year, the 1 year deal is
let's not say any numbers.
Okay, Zach, the 1 year deal is being reported by Justin Mello.
That's fine. Just let's not say any numbers if we don't know they're true.
I'm telling you, one is a 1 year deal. That is a number we can't say.
And I'm just telling you what
I understand. I'm listening to you. Just stop. Okay. 1 year deal for Josh Reynolds to see what he can prove with the Titans offense with more opportunity. And Spotrac does not have his market value. I've already looked at that back when I did my other research on him a few weeks ago.
Man, I really wish we could compare to see what Spo don't know. I really would, but if that's in the past, that's in the past. We are still waiting on Jadeveon Clowney on the Clowney watch. You know, yeah. I don't know if his market is dropping or I don't know what that's going to be, but if it's $7 million, if it's over $6.9 million, I'm going to be a happy man.
So Josh Reynolds signing with the Titans for a 1 year deal. Terry McCormick confirming that right as our show got off the ground. Now let's go back to our original lead topic and we'll talk about Isaiah Wilson. And
let's kind of wrap this up, Austin. Okay. Are we both thumbs up on this signing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it accomplishes it.
Yeah, he was a guy that I thought the Titans, it made sense. It fits. It fits them for what they're looking for what they need in this second wide receiver, and will probably fit what they need in a contract number.
Yeah, and the other thing before we move on, and Joshua asked, have they announced Jenkins' number? I don't know if they've announced that yet. They did some social media on him over the weekend. I did, and I'll give you credit here, Austin. I did a little bit more research on Jenkins, And it does seem like they were trying to replace Malcolm Butler's energy in the secondary. I thought that was a great comparison, and we'll see if it pays off. But that, I feel like that was their target. You needed a little juice, as we say, in the back half of that defense. And I think Jenkins could possibly give you that.
I don't know how I feel about him asking and telling all the media members to call him Jackrabbit.
I think we should have a topic on that this week before Thursday.
I'm just saying, the last cornerback who changed his name when he became Titan didn't go so well. Valentino Blake was formerly known as Antoine Blake. He gets signed by the Titans and is terrible. Absolutely terrible. So Jackrabbit.
Yeah, but Valentino was bad before then.
Antoine was not that bad. Antoine was serviceable. Valentino sucked.
Both.
Antoine,
no good.
Antoine could have been a good value depth piece in the secondary. Valentino was awful.
I don't know. We'll see what Jackrabbit does.
Jackrabbit is a way better player than Valentino.
Let's do this in the next 2 days. I would love to find out what the people think about Jackrabbit. Are you in and out on Jackrabbit? Let's sleep on this. Okay. Let's come back to this.
We'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back to it. All right. Now let's talk about Panda. Let's go from one nickname to the other. Isaiah Wilson. Did we get Isaiah Wilson cut? That's what we're going to talk about here in a second, with all that happened over the weekend with Isaiah Wilson and my tweet that went viral. But first, Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, I absolutely will. Last week we were broadcasting live from Wilson County Hyundai, and they are trusted. They've got your perfect vehicle right there in their lot. You just don't know it. You've got to drive out there. It's a quick trip down I-40, exit 236 in Lebanon. Austin and I made it last week. We're going to make it again next week. Wilson County Hyundai, they're trusted. Payne Bone and his team will put you in your perfect vehicle, whether it's you, your wife, your kids, maybe your kids turn 16. A Hyundai is a great value. You can keep it. I've had mine for now going on almost 10 years. Zero problems. I'll knock on wood just for the sake of it. But my Sonata has been great. It's been reliable. I mean, you get my oil change, get in it, rev it to 88 and dominate the streets. That's kind of how I live my life in my Hyundai Sonata. That's how you and your family can live yours, whether it's the Hyundai Palisade, the Elantra, the Sonata. They've got you covered. That's WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
It is esports. Don't forget, our title sponsor is BetMGM. They are the king of sports books. And hey, check this out. So they've actually got a new offer out there for college basketball today. Okay, so if you're a new user at BetMGM, download the app, use our bonus code ATOZ Sports. You put a $1 money line bet on any team, a $1 money line bet on any team. And if that team hits a three-pointer, then you get $100. So again, $1 money line bet on that team to win. And if they hit a single three-point shot, you get $100 at BetMGM. Take advantage of that. Download the app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. They are the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older, must be present in Tennessee. And for gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. Now we're talking Miami Panda, who was cut by the Dolphins over the weekend after my tweet went viral of Isaiah Wilson's Instagram story. And I'll go ahead and play you a portion of it. The language, if you got kids in the car, you might want to turn it down a little bit. It's not too bad, but never know. Just want to give a warning. But here's Isaiah Wilson's Instagram story that I think helped him get cut this weekend.
We get this friend, 3 bitches, 3 Glocks, so we 6 deep, slide in a minivan. Yeah, I am that bitch that they be scared of in the party. I get the party rocking shit, I pop a bean, I'm acting naughty. Ay, my go-to is...
So there's Isaiah Wilson. That's just part of it. He rapped at the end of it. It was awful. I think he forgot his own words. He was so intoxicated on whatever he was on. So Isaiah Wilson gets cut on Saturday. He did that Instagram story on Friday afternoon. So here's how the timeline happened. Tennessee just gets their ass kicked by Oregon State in March Madness. I jump on Instagram. I look at Isaiah Wilson's Instagram story, as I do nearly every day, just to see what shenanigans he's doing, to see what can come out of it. And what do you know? The guy is air humping on top of a SUV with some chick behind him in front of a jewelry store. And so I say, okay, let's check in on Isaiah Wilson, Miami Dolphins offensive lineman. So that tweet takes off, Zach, and I did not expect that to happen at all. Last I checked, that tweet video of the air hump has, I'm looking for an update, it has 185,000 views on Twitter. It's been retweeted over 600 times. And then the Miami Herald comes out the next morning and says that Isaiah Wilson has been cut by the Miami Dolphins. So what was your reaction to the entire process of the tweet that goes viral with the video and then the Dolphins cutting him the next day?
Well, if you go back and look at our original YouTube when he was partying over New Year's Eve, it has 197,000 views on it.
Right.
Again, another reason why you subscribe to A to Z Sports, you're going to get some good content. But that tells me that people are interested in this. And I think it's hilarious that, you have been infatuated. That would be the word to describe infatuated with the Isaiah Wilson situation of why he's doing what he's doing. Because it doesn't make sense. I've kind of understood it and pushed it on. You've seen this thing through. And I think because of that, and I told somebody over the weekend, because I was sent this story because of your viral video or your viral tweet, I believe that you got him cut.
I called you Saturday morning. We were like, did I just get an NFL player fired?
And obviously Scoop, he got himself cut. It's his own fault. Yes.
But the action, I think, look, because here's the Miami Herald report about why he was cut. Wilson refused team efforts to help him get his life on track, continue behavior. In just a short time, he showed up late for his physical, late for his team orientation, and skipped 2 optional workouts that he had committed to attend. So all of this happened in 3 days. The trade was unofficial until Wednesday afternoon. Friday, he's air humping on top of cars, and he gets cut Saturday morning. So all of these things happened within a 3-day period. And I see Jim say, Austin, that's weird to check his story every day.
It is.
But it's not, because we have been the leading newsbreaker on the Isaiah Wilson beat.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It means that it is a little weird. It's okay.
It's not weird.
It's not weird to you because you're doing it. I do believe that it is slightly weird.
Zach, how did I break the Rashard Matthews story when he was left the Titans? Through Instagram. Again, why do I think A to Z Sports was the lead newsbreaker on the Isaiah Wilson beat? And I feel fine saying this after the fact because there is no Isaiah Wilson beat anymore. He's going to be out of the league. Nobody's going to touch that guy anymore. But how we did this is because we are digital media people and we follow Instagram. And players do things on Instagram that are newsworthy, including Isaiah Wilson. So that's why I was doing this.
Yeah, and I look, it is journalism, and G-Man says it's not weird at all. It is slightly weird. It's okay. That's journalism.
Yeah.
Journalism is weird. You're using weird as like a negative connotation. It's just weird. Things are weird, okay? And that is. And to what you were saying is, this was his last opportunity. He will not get another one. The Miami Dolphins, it was a last-ditch effort to try to salvage anything that was left. Now, here's a question that I was asked over the weekend that I don't truly know because I don't know the details to it. When the trade happened from the Titans to the Dolphins, so let's compare this. When the Dolphins traded Ryan Tannehill to the Titans, the Dolphins had to pay a portion of his salary. Now, under different constraints because of a different contract, it wasn't a rookie deal. Tannehill had signed a new deal. Are the Titans responsible for any salary that he was going to be under with the Dolphins?
And I don't know this for sure, the Titans still have the the cap hit of his signing bonus and his and portions of his guaranteed money. But again,
and I don't know, but it
Titans,
does sound.
Here's what I do know: the Titans were able to save around $4 million over the length of the contract by shipping him to Miami. I think part of like how the Dolphins Titans trade with Tannehill worked out is that was the agreed upon part of the trade was, hey, we'll pick up some of the salary if you can take him because we're just trying to get rid of him for the draft pick.
Yeah, and I just use that as a comparison because it made sense. I look at this and I think this is a good example of why baseball players play baseball and why football players don't have guaranteed money. And the guaranteed money that they do have, like Isaiah Wilson, he's partying. He has that, $200,000 necklace, panda, all that stuff. I mean, he does have guaranteed money. Like the signing, he will have that money.
Oh, he's already gotten his signing bonus, which I think is around $6 million in his pocket.
That's not going away, right?
Well, it probably has already been spent, but regardless.
But that's not going away, and I don't think that is able to be recouped. I'm curious to see what money they will try to go after, but he basically took advantage to a degree, took advantage of the system and not wanting to be in the league, right? He's a first-round pick. He got his money. He got his signing bonus, and he wasn't willing to work or work under the constraints of the National Football League, right? Mm-hmm. So, hey, it's his prerogative. He's free man, free will, in a free country. So he can do what he wants. I do think officially, Austin, in my opinion, I believe your video was the tipping point of cutting his ass. And I also think that we will no longer see Isaiah Wilson in the NFL. You just hope, and this is on the human side of things, that you don't see Isaiah Wilson in even more trouble or legal trouble or in a section of the newspaper that you don't want to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. You don't know where this is going to turn because I saw where like he refused help from the Dolphins, and I saw Ian Rappaport said that Isaiah Wilson is now a free agent, but he has to work through or continue working through his personal issues. Like he's not working through anything. What Isaiah Wilson is doing is what Isaiah Wilson wants to do.
He doesn't recognize he has personal issues. That's the key, right? And we go back to, if you're an alcoholic, the first thing that you have to do is recognize you're an alcoholic. If you don't recognize that, you cannot get better or start to mend, or whether it's alcoholism or drug use or whatever. And what he is doing, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, I think, to the common man, but to him, it does. And that's the issue.
Yeah, he doesn't care because he's continuing to post this stuff on social media. And it baffles me of how you can be that careless.
Yeah, and and Sherlock says, I don't feel bad for him one bit. I don't either. I have no sympathy for him. He made his own bed. He can do what he wants to do, right? I have no.
But again, I also don't want him to like have something terrible, catastrophic happen to him.
But at the same time, that's his prerogative, right? The free will thing works both ways.
Yeah, for sure.
And so he can do whatever the hell he wants. I have no sympathy, or he's going to have to start to work on himself if he wants to. But if he doesn't, I don't really care. It makes me no difference. Honestly, I hope that March 22nd, Monday at 8:54, is the last time that we will ever, in the history of A to Z Sports, talk about Isaiah Wilson. I think I've said that three times.
I doubt it. He keeps happening. Panda keeps panding. He keeps making news. And we've been able to break a lot of Isaiah Wilson stories over the last 10 and a half months or 11 months. That's the crazy
this is an assumption. BMO says, it's mental illness. I don't know. That hasn't been diagnosed. It could be making just really bad decisions. Like, it doesn't mean people can be, and here's what I say. I believe in mental illness. That is real. I believe that is a real thing. But I also believe in just pure stupidity. I think people are dumb sometimes. Idiots. Stupid.
But I think
so I don't know which one this is. It could be a combination of both. But there are two different things.
All right, here's what I remember about Isaiah Wilson after he was drafted, and I want to get to this because I have 4 of the worst Isaiah Wilson takes that I got on Twitter over the weekend from my tweet going viral that will give us some comedy as we move on from Panda, okay? But we'll get to that in a second. But what I remember from Isaiah Wilson right after the draft is him talking to the Titans media on Zoom immediately after he was drafted. And then he talked to Buck on the podcast once at 615 Sessions. He talked to the media another time. And I thought this was a deep thinking person. He was a psychology major. He talked about how he likes to understand the why of things and how he likes to understand what people want out of life. I was like, this guy makes a lot. I feel like this guy's a big heart type of guy. But what he actually did is manipulate everybody around him in order to get a signing bonus and then turn into what he actually wanted to be in the first place.
I look him in the same vein, and I've said this before, as Robert Kimdichie. It looks and feels and smells a lot like Robert Kimdichie, who is also a deep thinking person. And so is his brother Denzel. They experimented with different drugs and things like that. There was no pulling punches about that. That's pretty documented. I believe that Isaiah Wilson is of that kind of same ilk. And let's just face it, Robert Kimdichie's been in the league for some time. He was also a late first round pick that didn't work out.
Yeah, and I think Isaiah, I mean, they're having massive issues. Okay, let's get to the 4 of the worst takes I got about Isaiah Wilson on Twitter. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Coming up in the next, little bit, we're going to be talking about Bud Dupree's ACL recovery and how his ACL injury and the timeline could impact his ability to have an impact on the field with the Titans. We're going to do that with a Doc Talk segment coming up in the near future with the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care right there in Franklin. They do everything, including the rehab and the surgery, all in that one building, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, don't forget, download the BetMGM app. We're also giving away $500 for a bracket challenge. I will not be receiving that $500. I am out.
Well, you weren't either, but.
Well, I was really wanting to win that $500 and rub it in everybody's face that I am king, I am master, I won my own bracket, but that's so far that's not going to happen. I am out. I am withdrawal. I'm withdrawing from the bracket since I picked the Fighting Illini to win. You could pick some more winners on the app BetMGM. They are our title sponsor. I'm rocking the shirt today, right there, Swagville, right there. Code ATOZ Sports. They've got great promotion. Austin, you said it earlier. They're essentially, I don't want to say this, but they're kind of giving you free money.
Okay, so I'll go over it again. So today, if you sign up for BetMGM, use our bonus code ATOZ Sports, you place a $1 money line bet on any college basketball team today. And if they hit a single 3-point shot in that game, you win $100. So a $1 money line bet, and if they hit a single 3-pointer, it's $100. So that's a great entry deal for you guys. Also, quick update. We've got over 200 submissions in our bracket right now. Churtle 76 is winning, but he's picked Illinois to win, so he is out. Yes. Gibbs. Watch out for Gibbs and Bobby Nava. Michigan and Gonzaga, they are our kind of winners, our leaders in our tournament challenge. We got over 200 submissions. That thing is going to be fire. Hey, shout out to everybody that signed up, and shout out to Mill Creek Brewing. They're going to hook you up with a prize pack on top of that $500. They've been a great sponsor for our bracket so far. All right, so here are the 4 of the worst Isaiah Wilson takes I got on Twitter. Not all of the worst, but 4 of the worst takes. We'll start from left and go to right. This guy, Tehran. This is so strange that grown people are disgusted at a young man for living his life. People can't mind their own business for shite. Don't even have to pay him 1 cent, yet butthurt about him doing nothing wrong. So that was one of the tweets. That was a struggle to get through. Yeah. So this next one is probably my favorite because it's just so ridiculous. Austin's post has the angst of a young white dude who feels a little jealous of a different dude because said dude got paid while he was young and tried to enjoy it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. Is that I am so angry and jealous of Isaiah Wilson that's why I'm doing this.
Are you jealous? Are you jelly?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Then Matt Lex. What's the big deal? Of course, I prefer humble people like Tua, heart emoji, but there's nothing wrong with having a party during the offseason, right? I mean, if he doesn't give a shit like this during training camp, that becomes an issue. But for now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's my favorite one.
Yes. All right. So the last one, Kieran, this is just stupid. Let's give him a chance. Everyone is allowed to let go, especially off season. I'd be celebrating a contract in Miami too. And then he quote tweets the day drunk Tom Brady after winning the Super Bowl, like Isaiah Wilson getting traded for a swap of 7th round draft picks as a 1st round pick is the same as celebrating your 7th Super Bowl championship. What in the world? This was my entire weekend. This was just trying to keep myself from I was laughing at the majority of it because Dolphins fans got a quick crash course in Isaiah Wilson 101. But my God, a lot of these were so funny. So funny.
Oh, man. I mean, you can't support that. I mean, it's fun. It's entertainment. But these, people, did they actually think that thought?
No, the majority of people that said that, this is their reaction before he gets cut on Saturday. And then they're like, oh, I see now. I get it.
That's
so
funny.
Just absolutely crazy. But Isaiah Wilson's beat report was a busy one for A to Z Sports over the last 10 months.
Well, we'll see if we can kind of put that to bed and see. Hopefully I don't know. I don't even know what I hope for. I think I'm at that point with this Isaiah Wilson story. Unfortunately, it's a 1st round pick gone wrong that the Titans will never be able to recoup in any sort of way. It's done.
One guy tried to compare what Isaiah Wilson's doing to what Gronk has been doing and making money off of. That are just so ridiculous.
And Ben comes in here and says, honestly, the partying is fine, sorta, but you got to show up to workouts and practice. One thing I don't understand, Ben, is you emphasize is, and then you said sorta. So that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. It's backwards.
Yeah. AJ Brown watching the show has a comment here on Periscope. Pray for him. It's about his life, not football. I mean, yeah, we've talked about this majority of times whenever we've talked about Isaiah Wilson is we don't want anything bad to happen to Isaiah Wilson. That is not what we are hoping for. But Isaiah Wilson has ruined an opportunity that a lot of people never could have had a chance to get.
Well, and here's the struggle, Austin, is that we feel, and we don't know, I mean, we have a pretty good idea. The Tennessee Titans tried to help him. I believe that, and we've talked to Taylor Lewan about this, Lewan and the offensive line tried to help him.
Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, Dennis Kelly, the Titans offensive line has some really, really good people in it that want to help the younger guys, right?
Right.
The
and
veterans.
then I think the outside, Titans, I guess employees that probably people don't really see. I think they tried to help him and wrangle him back in. And then when it was gone, Miami, I believe they wouldn't have traded for him if they weren't going to give him help. He's just refusing help. And again, I think we've talked about this. You hope that he turns a corner sometime in some way. Right now, it doesn't seem like that is going to happen in the immediate future, but stranger things have happened, and we'll obviously monitor the situation as the weeks go on. But man, I think he just needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and realize what he lost already. And that's opportunity.
But I don't see him. I don't see him doing that. And then B-Ret says, that's not AJ Brown, LOL. And then AJ Brown says, yes, it is. It is AJ Brown. Yeah.
Confirmation right there. I would actually like to. I don't know.
Like AJ's laughing now. Like it's really funny.
I'd like to see if AJ. What do you think about the new signee, your new teammate, Josh Reynolds? Are you excited
I want to know
to
from
play
AJ how much AJ wants Elijah Moore in the second round to go along with him and Josh Reynolds. That's what I want to know.
Well, as an Ole Miss grad, I would say that AJ wants Elijah Moore just as much as I do. I think that it would be a perfect fit, but I think that's out of all of our hands. That's up to John Robinson and Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, and if Elijah Moore is available at 53 overall, but nobody expected AJ to be there at 51. So, all right, let's move on to our next discussion here about Deshaun Watson, because this thing is getting serious very fast with Deshaun Watson, and who knows where it's going to go from here. But I do think the question we're going to ask about Deshaun Watson is very worthy of asking, is what percentage chance does Deshaun Watson play football this season? Now, one of them could be Deshaun Watson sitting out because the Texans can't trade him. But the other is what's happening with the lawsuit of alleged sexual assault to now 12 women in the Houston area for massage services. So let's talk about that. But Zach, first tell everybody about Calvin and Settle.
Yeah, I will. And AJ has spoken. Great pick. Elijah will be gone before then. I do agree. I believe that the Titans will have to trade up.
22. I mean, trade back. Look, I've done several of these mock drafts.
Oh, trade back.
Trade back from 22. There are several teams in like the early 30s and late 20s that might want to move up to get a corner or something like that. So then you can trade back, grab an extra second round draft pick that might be in Elijah's area.
Well, and I think Elijah, he's a playmaker, right? On top of what he has been able to do at Ole Miss, he gives you the playmaking ability that I think is a reason why a team will draft him higher than usual. And that's why he may be off the board. But I can't wait to see what the Titans do at 22 if they do trade back, or if they trade up in the second round. They do need another wide receiver. They need a defensive pass rusher. These things that we know, how high, and they need a tight end because Jonu's gone. How high are they going to prioritize these positions in the draft?
All right, so a lot of you guys are answering this question. What percentage chance does Deshaun Watson play football this season? But first, Zach, tell everybody about Calvin and Settle.
Yeah, Calvin and Settle is where you need to go get your hardwood floors. 615-448-6414 or online at calvinandsettle.com. That's where they will hook you up. Rip up that old carpet and put in brand new hardwood floors. Renovate your home. 615-448-6414. Doesn't matter if you're in Nashville, Spring Hill, Brentwood, Gallatin, Clarksville. They service the Middle Tennessee area. That's calvinandsettle.com.
Don't forget A to Z Sports, BetMGM, the king of sports books. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports. Basketball starts today at 11 o'clock. And again, if you put a $1 moneyline bet as a new user, a $1 moneyline bet on any college basketball team today, and a single three-pointer is made, then you win $100. So it's a great bet, great entry bet with your first deposit and your first bet right there at BetMGM. Download the app, use our bonus code ATOZ Sports. Talking to Deshaun Watson here now on the show. What percentage chance does he play this season? I'm just going to read through some answers real quick. Jeff says 10%. Tyler says 100. He'll beat those fake lawsuits. We'll address that here in a second. James says 0%. Watson says sitting out. Texans say suspended. Lose-lose situation. Ethan Ramsey says 75%. Fonzo says 100%. 25% he plays. 5% from Jeff. 100% from G-Man. Steven says 0%. Even if Deshaun Watson gets suspended because he wants out of Houston no matter what. Corey says 90%. I see a 5%, sad to see, but 50%, 1% chance he plays from Titans for life, 50, 80, a lot of percentages coming in here for you guys. So, Zach, how do you feel about this situation?
Man, I think this is a tough situation because there's a lot involved. More keeps coming out. And then on the front end of everything, of him being disgruntled with the football side of things, right? Let's separate all the other stuff. He wasn't happy in Houston because of the front office and the Texans and the way that they were treating their star quarterback. Now, these allegations and accusations, that's what they are. We don't know anything more about them. We probably will learn more as the weeks roll by. Man, this is a really tough question, Austin, because everybody has their opinion on it. We don't know a lot of information about the ins and outs. And that's usually, let's just be honest, we live in 2021. There's cancel culture everywhere, right? You mess up, the public gets the pitchforks out.
This is more than like one instance of messing up. This, like Tyler said, fake lawsuits. It's hard.
But that's what I'm saying, is because we don't have enough information for the public to really get a grasp around the level of what these accusations are. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know.
Why I brought up 12 lawsuits. Like it's insanely difficult to try to fake 12 lawsuits. 12 women have come forward about this. And so like think about like how hard it is to get 12 people to do anything.
Well,
like 12 people to get on the same page to allege something of somebody else illegal. That's a lot of things lining up that I don't think it's just, he said, she said thing. That is very difficult situation. 12 is a lot that it should be taken very, very seriously.
Yeah, serious. But as you said, lawsuit by the letter of the law. Law means that they have to prove those accusations.
Yeah, we're trying to say everything. It's alleged, it's lawsuits. They have to be proven. We understand that. And Kelkin says that also the first response to think these women are lying is a problem with our culture. I agree with that. I think we should just recognize there's allegations, there's a lawsuit.
We have a problem with our culture, Kelkins, though. We have a big problem with our culture. Our culture is messed the F up. So to say that we don't have a problem with our culture is incorrect. We do.
That's what he was saying.
But that's what we do. That's the unfortunate part. And we, being everybody's a part of this society, I hate it.
And that's Zach. You and Kelkins are agreeing. Like you're agreeing. There's a problem with the culture. That's what he's saying.
And what I'm saying is that that's what everybody does, and that's not going to change, unfortunately. And now the perception has power. We've seen it too many times. Here's where I'm at. I believe that it's more likely than not that he does not play. I think that this is going to be more as I think we find out more information. The more information that we're going to find out is not going to be good information, right? It's not going to be like, oh, that's okay, we could brush it under the rug information. It's going to be accusations where, as you said, now it's up to 12 women. I don't know the ins and outs, but the more information that the public knows, the more they, I think, will be willing to try to cancel him. And we've seen it. And now with the NFL and trying to protect their money, let's talk business real quick instead of theory. Business is the NFL is coming off of a year in which they dropped their salary cap and they probably made less money than they have in the last 3 years in a singular year because of COVID. They're not going to put up with the public perception going after the NFL, like, and I'll give you examples, Deflategate didn't help. Ray Rice's incident didn't help. Donald Trump in the whole election years ago did not help the NFL. The NFL and let's just talk about Black Lives Matter and how they handled that in Colin Kaepernick's situation. That did not help the NFL. The NFL is learning the lessons in politics.
The NFL has made a lot of mistakes.
Right. And big conglomerations worth billions of dollars usually do. But this is something that I think they have to be very cognizant of and make the right decision and not make a mistake. I'm going to put it at right now, I'm going to put it at 60% that he will not start the season and won't play.
Zach, we're asking the question, what percentage will he play football?
So
you're 40%. Okay, so you're at 40%. I want to read, Greg says, hold opinion until resolved. It's the only responsible decision for everyone involved. Yeah, I agree. But it's also, it's the lawsuits with Deshaun Watson also wanting to be traded and saying that he is prepared to not play. So there's a lot of things that are aligning for Deshaun Watson to not play football this season. And Patrick says, here's my thinking on it. Why hasn't all this come out before he wants out of Houston? That's what doesn't make sense. 12 women. What did it all happen over the offseason?
Blood in the water.
Well, it's not, but it's also not blood in the water. It's like when one person speaks out, it makes the second person more comfortable to speak out. It's the Tiger Woods situation. Right?
I think yes, I agree with that, but I also think that Deshaun Watson was in the news, and I think as a strategy from a lawyer's standpoint, definitely impacted the timing of this.
So I don't know. Like I'm taking this, I'm viewing this seriously because they are serious allegations. I'm not judging Deshaun Watson one way or the other. Deshaun Watson deserves his contract that he signed with the Texans. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL that's young right now. He's got a bright future. I think that he is a good person. Everything that Deshaun Watson has done up until these allegations that are just allegations right now shows that Deshaun Watson's a great guy. Everything he's done shows that he's a great guy. So who knows what's going to happen, but it's very serious. So what are the chances that Deshaun Watson plays right now? You said 40. I think it's lower than that because first he wants to be traded. Is this going to stop trade talks? The further it goes, like maybe right now it's not scaring NFL teams away from trading for him, but as it's just March 22nd, there's a lot of offseason. There's a lot of time for these allegations and lawsuits to be moving down the road. Does it make Deshaun Watson untradeable? And then does he sit out because of that?
It could make Deshaun Watson untradeable. But as we've seen, we just got done a story. Somebody traded for Isaiah Wilson, which makes no sense. So
yeah, but Isaiah Wilson did not have like legal things happening besides a DUI.
But not a clean record. Let's fair difference, apples and oranges, but not clean, right? Not an there's a reason why they're being traded. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go.
Brent says the Texans aren't going to trade him right now as the allegations lower his value. I mean,
I do think that this makes the Texans have more leverage.
I don't know, because the Texans know if the Texans have a quarterback who doesn't want to play for them, and now they have a quarterback, but they also know this quarterback is a generational, really good quarterback for the next 10 years. They have to get everything they possibly can out of this trade. And if these allegations and lawsuits are lowering his value, then it makes it more unwilling. The Texans probably more unwilling to trade him until something's solved with the allegations. And that's a long process because that's how these things work.
And it's tough because look, we've seen both sides of it. It's not an assumption of if these women are right or wrong. We have to figure out what they're accusing him of as we know, right? Like as the public learns more about it, and we just don't know enough, but it's not trending in a good situation for Deshaun Watson.
No,
that is for sure.
Yeah. So you're at 40. I think it's lower than that. I think it's like 35% chance he plays football this season. Just because, he already said he's willing to sit out if he's not traded by the Texans. And this is just making it harder to trade him for the Texans.
See, I think the opposite. I think he'd be more willing to play for the Texans because, and we just look at, I'm just going to compare a situation, the Kobe situation. And Kobe actually came out afterwards of the rape accusations that he went through. And he said the only thing that got him through that was basketball, was being able to prove it. And he did, right? Now, if that would, and obviously rest in peace, Kobe, this is not talking about anything other than what the facts of what happened. If that rape accusation that was made in the 2000s was made today with Kobe, it would be complete different stories, ifs and buts. I think Deshaun Watson, probably a strategy would be to play football to distract or deter the public from what this story is.
But is he going to play for the Texans?
If push come to shove and you're under contract for the Houston Texans and that's your ability to play football, I bet that he would be advised to play football. So I'm going to go the different direction of you. I understand your way of thinking.
I get your philosophy here. It is late March. There's a lot of off season left for this right here. All right, A to Z Sports. Let's get to our bad sales job segment because I think this is one of the more fun things we do. Bad sales job to end the show on a Monday where Zach and I each give the other something that they have to give us a 30-second sales pitch of. That's very difficult. So we're going to do that. But first, let me tell all you guys about Renters Warehouse and renterswarehouse.com, the professional landlords in the Nashville area. Renterswarehouse.com is where to go to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways you can use Renters Warehouse to your benefit. They are fantastic when it comes to helping you create extra cash flows for you and your family. They're also great if you are currently renting and want to rent a new home, whether you're upsizing, downsizing, whatever it might be. Let the pros take it over and do all the work for you. Renterswarehouse.com.
A to Z Sports, don't forget BetMGM. March Madness is going on. They've got you hooked up. Code ATOZ Sports. They got great promotions. They're giving you incentive to just win easy money right out of the gate, and then you can kind of play your hand at the betting. Austin and I have done a good job. I've made a little bit of scratch. So has Austin. It's an up and down game, but it is fun. BetMGM. Download the app today.
No kidding about that up and down game. It's also bad sales job is also an up and down game because I feel like we've never had two people. Neither of us have won 2 weeks in a row, right? I think we're 6-6. I think we're even.
I have because I was down one.
That's right.
And then I won 2 times in a row to go up one, and then now we're back even.
We're back even. We're 6-6. Bad sales job. Brent says, why Isaiah Wilson? We're getting another change to the NFL. That's a good one, but a little too obvious. I have done a bad sales job for Isaiah Wilson in the past. So Zach, I think it's my turn to go first.
Like I give it to you. No, you went first last. Yeah. So you give me a bad sales job first.
Yes. Yeah. So now I got to pull up my list that I had saved. All right. Ready, Zach?
Yes.
Why mayonnaise is the best overall condiment and works on every food. Why mayonnaise is the best overall condiment and works on every food. If you don't know, Zach hates mayonnaise.
All right, let me know when the timer's ready.
I'm ready to go on your start.
Versatility. That is the one thing that mayonnaise gives that other condiments don't, and that's the one thing you need. It actually is better than buttering bread to toast. Put a little bit of mayonnaise on there, put it on the hot fryer, boom, it's even better. Aioli. Aioli can spice it up, go a little bit fancy. Garlic aioli, that's a big thing. People like dipping their fries in it. Spinach artichoke dip. You can put it in different condiment in different things to make better. And a burger, that creamy goodness when you bite into a burger, that's why mayonnaise is better.
You're making mayonnaise toast?
Yeah, that actually is true. If you watch cooking shows, that if you put mayonnaise instead of butter on your toast, it toasts better. So if you didn't know that, you learned something on top of the bad sales job.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelkins knows that's what they say is on the grilled cheese, you should actually put on the outside a little bit of mayonnaise instead of butter. It makes the grilled cheese.
So you basically turned it into a pro aioli.
Well, it was no pro mayonnaise everything. I thought that was a damn good job by me.
Okay. All right. You would never eat any of the things that you just talked about.
Oh, hell no. The only thing I eat that is mayonnaise based is spinach artichoke dip. I do like spinach artichoke dip.
Oh, is that mayonnaise based?
Usually. Sometimes it's sour cream based, but usually it's mayo. All right, Austin, let me get my timer ready.
That's cream cheese and sour cream.
You can make spinach artichoke dip with mayonnaise. That's absolutely correct.
Ugh. Okay.
All right. Austin, you have to sell us on why dancing at weddings is stupid.
Okay. Let's see.
Don't give him help.
I'm not
You
reading.
looked. I can watch you looking.
I'm not reading comments, Zach.
You did read that
I'm
comment.
looking
I know
out
you
my
did.
door.
Let's go.
Zach, you researched something last week with this. Come on, get out of here with that. You researched something with bad sales job. I'm not like, you can't just hurry me along. You Googled things. Okay. Why? That's not what it started. Are you ready? Dancing at weddings only ends in one result. Well, actually, two. Either embarrassment or injury, because nobody's used to dancing like that. Once you're lubed up with all the alcohol, you're going to hurt something, or you're going to hurt your ego and your pride by looking like a fool. So the best maneuver at weddings is to just avoid the dance floor. It's safer for everybody.
That you used 23 seconds. That was awful.
Again,
injury.
You have to use.
Have you ever gotten injured?
You have. You've gotten injured
dancing at a wedding.
I've witnessed other people get injured dancing at a wedding. I have not gotten injured dancing at a wedding. That's really tough.
I think I'm going to take the W on this one.
Yeah, I think Zach won that. Damn it! I thought the Mayo thing was a great approach.
Yeah, but I can sell things like that I don't necessarily like because other people like them. Like.
Yeah, Chip, I've witnessed many pairs of ripped pants. Yeah, that was tough. I don't know. I thought about that this morning. I was like, what can I do? And that just popped in my head. I was like, that would be a hard thing to sell. Yeah, because it's impossible, because dancing's a great idea at weddings. Well, yeah, because it's like you can't go anti-celebration. That is like a form of celebrating, is like dancing and having a good time. And, women like it. Guys like it. It does the opposite of embarrassment. You get the sweet moments and all that kind of stuff. And that's the hard part. Is Bobby says I botched that. Like, come on, dude. Like, nobody's gonna do a good job with that. Don't take offense. I am taking offense. No, don't. It's a bad sales job. It's okay that people think that you sucked at it. I'm competitive. I've sucked at it before. I apologize for being competitive. That was like defense mechanism. You try to do it. Try. Seriously. Like when people it's like people judging people that for things that they can't do themselves, like irrationally. All right. Well, I'll take the lead on this bad sales job, 7-6. I definitely won in the comments and in most of our hearts. Kevin asks, I missed most of the show. What is the wide receiver rumor? Well, the rumor became fact as Josh Reynolds is signing with the Titans on a 1-year deal. It was a rumor overnight, and then Terry McCormick confirmed that this morning. Justin Mello said 1-year deal. I saw Joe Rexrod also say 1-year deal. So the Titans have Josh Reynolds from the Rams, who I think is a really, really good fit with what they're looking for price and production. So I'm very interested to see how Josh Reynolds fits with the offense and what he can do with more opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. All right, good Monday show. A lot went on during that show, including an A.J. Brown appearance. A.J. Brown stuck around for a bit. Oh, well, hey, shout out to A.J. Brown. Look, we know he's all in on Elijah Moore, which we probably already knew before. Yep. And the funny thing is he called out people that were saying he wasn't real. That was the best comment of them all. Is people are like, that's not A.J. Brown, and he's like, yes, it is. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Monday. A lot of stuff. The Big Orange podcast with a fire episode out as Charlie Burris is going to lose his mind on Rick Barnes. That's the A to Z Sports Podcast Network. Buck will be back tonight with A to Z Sports Primetime. Tons of content at AtoZSportsNashville.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks.
Adios.